Hello everyone, I welcome all of you to the second video of our Node.js journey. In this video, we are going to design the complete backend by using Node.js, Express and SQLite database. If you are thinking, ma'am, why we are not using MongoDB database? So my dear, my playlist is completely for beginners. So to understand the fundamental concepts of Node.js, it's better to use SQLite because it is easy to understand. And immediately in the next video, I'm going to cover the MongoDB as well. So don't worry, everything will be covered step by step properly. Okay. So if you are someone who wanted to become Node.js developer, so my playlist is already live, in which first video I have posted of this Node.js. Make sure you have watched the first video, then only you jump to the second video. Because in first video, we already have covered the all fundamental concepts of Node.js. Also, we have installed the required softwares also to build the complete backend. So don't miss out the first video. After the completion of first video, then only jump to the second video. Okay, so let's start with the our backend. So now you might have used the Amazon, you might have used the YouTube, Facebook, right? So let's say I wanted to watch some videos on YouTube application. So what I'll do, I'll open the YouTube, I'll request for whichever the video I want to watch, correct? And as soon as I send the request, all those videos will be displayed to me, correct? So if we think all those videos, where all those videos are present, of course in the YouTube's database, right? So we are reading the data from that YouTube's database. Whatever the video we want to watch, we are sending the request and we are getting the data. Same for Amazon as well. Whenever we want to go through some products, we search for the product and all that product data we get on our screen, right? So this process is called as reading the data from the database. We are sending the request, in return we are getting the data, right? So whenever we want to read the data, we want to update the data, sometimes we want to delete the data. So different types of request we need to send. Okay, so when you are reading the data, we send get request, post request, put and delete. So different requests are there and different HTTP methods are there which handles this request. So first we are going to understand the different HTTP methods. So let's understand this in better way. Let's visualize this. Consider this is your database. As of now, some huge database I have not considered. One small table we have considered over here. As SQLite we are using, SQLite is relational database. So I have taken one table over here. Okay, so in this table, some data is present, correct? So now let's say I want to read the data from this table, like how you are sending the request to read the data from Amazon database, from YouTube database. In the similar way, I want to read the data from this small database. So the type of request which we have to send is get the type of request. Just do remember these words: to read the data, get request. Okay. Let's say I want to insert one new data into this table. As of now, Akash, Pooja and Ankit is present. Okay. One more new row I want to insert into my database. So I'm going to send the post type of request. So whenever we are submitting the forms, for example, let's say I don't have my account on Facebook. Let's consider I have my account, that's different story. But consider I don't have my account on Facebook. Now I want to create my account. Then what I should do? I will open the sign up form of Facebook, correct? I will enter my data and I will click on sign up. If my data is valid, then all my data will go and sit into the Facebook's database, right? So one new entry will be added into the Facebook database. So when I submitted the form, one request will go to the server and along with that request, some data also will be sent. So the type of request in which we are sending the data to the server, that is the post type of request. So whenever we are submitting the forms, either it is your login form, sign up forms, we are sending the post types of request to the server. Okay. You will get the better clarity in next some couple of minutes when you will create your actual post request using Node and Express. Okay. So as of now, do remember, if you are reading the data from this database, get request. If you are inserting one new record into this table, then post request. Now let's say some data is already there. You want to update it. For example, this Ankit ka city is Mumbai. I want to update it to Bangalore. So I will send the put type of request. Put means update the data. Okay. In the similar way, if you want to delete some data from the database, you will send the delete request. As simple as. Okay. So now let's create the database. First, we should have the database, right? And later we will create the get, post, put and delete APIs for CRUD operations. Okay, CRUD means create, read, update and delete operations. See, create means inserting the new row into the table. Read means get the data from the table. Update means your put request. Delete means your delete request. So this CRUD operations we are going to perform on our SQLite database by using the APIs. So to create these APIs, we have the HTTP method. First method is get method. Second is post method. Next put method and delete method. Again, one small statement I'll repeat. When we are sending get request, someone should be there to handle that get request. That is get method. Your post request will be handled by post method. Your put request will be handled by put method and delete request will be handled by delete method. Okay. So if you are not getting the 100% clarity, that's totally fine. Okay. Once we build the API, you will get the 100% clarity. Okay. So yeah, so these all APIs we are going to create now. So let's start. We'll switch to the VS Code and we'll start building our APIs. Okay. So you also open the VS Code. Again, from the scratch, we are going to cover. I'll just adjust my video over here. Okay. So first we have to open the new folder into our VS Code. Okay. So let's open. Go to the file. You will be having one option called as open folder. So click on open folder. Okay. So on desktop, I'll create one new folder here. We'll give the folder name as Node.js Backend. Node.js Backend. That's all. Hyphen SQLite we can write because I'm going to use the SQLite database. So select folder, select folder. Yeah. So you can see one empty folder we have opened into our database. Now this Copilot I don't want. So yeah, this welcome window will close. So now first we have to create our Node.js project, right? How to create the project? In the last video we have covered. I hope you have revised it. We'll take a new terminal. Okay. So what is the command? npm init initialize -y means yes to all. So we'll hit enter. So it will give the package.json in which the metadata of our project will be present. Okay. Okay. So now we'll clear this screen. Here I'll just write clear. Okay. So now next I need the Express because Express will help us to build the APIs. Okay. Easily. We can use this get method, post method, put and delete methods because of Express only. So Express is required, guys. So we will write npm install Express. So it is installing the Express. It will take a couple of seconds. That's all. Make sure network is proper. Okay. Okay. So as I have told, we are going to use the SQLite database. Okay. So two packages are required. npm install SQLite package is required. Okay. If we are using MongoDB, then different packages are required. For SQLite is required. And one more package is required, which is nothing but SQLite 3. We will discuss about these two packages and also I'm going to give you the notes also. What is the meaning of SQLite package, SQLite 3 package, everything. You can read it from those notes. In the description, you will be getting the notes. Okay. So I'll clear the screen. So two packages we have installed, SQLite and SQLite 3 and Express also we have installed, right? So now let's create the index.js file, index.js. This is my entry point. So now let's import them. How to import these packages? Two ways are there. One is in CommonJS, one is in modern.js. So modern.js, if you are using, then in package.json, this type you have to change. Okay. But as I'm here, you have to write the type module. Okay. But as I'm going to use the CommonJS syntax only, so no need to change anything. Let's continue. Okay. If you haven't understood modern.js, CommonJS, leave it, guys. Not an issue. So first we will declare one variable express. In this variable, we will import by using require method, require. What is the package name? Express. So write express. In the similar way, declare one more variable, SQLite 3. Lite, SQLite 3. Okay. What is the package which you have installed? The package which I have installed is SQLite 3. This is the package name. Okay. Now we have installed one more package, SQLite. From that package, I want to import open method. Why open method? You will understand. Wait. So import the open method required from SQLite package. So yeah. So Express we imported. Later SQLite 3 we imported. SQLite also we imported. After I want to import one path also, path package. This path module I need. So here I'll just write path. You no need to install the path because in CommonJS modules, path module will be by default present. We no need to install this. Now, why this path required, SQLite required, 3 required, we'll discuss about it. Please have a patience. Okay. Okay. So now we need a database, SQLite database, in which we will be creating our small table. And later we will perform read, update, delete operations. But where is table? So my dear, SQLite is serverless database. You no need to install any server. You no need to download anything. It is file-based database. We have to create just one file with the extension .db. So let's create it. You can write the command like this, SQLite 3. What is the file name you want? Let's say I want my file name mydata.db. Okay, you can give any name. Okay, mydata.db. We'll hit enter. So now here you should get one file with the name mydata.db. Okay, but now before that we have to create at least one table in this mydata.db. One file you will get it over here. Okay, so let's create it. I'll just write. First we will check, is there any table present in this file? Dot tables. There is no table present in this file. See, now you got it, mydata.db file. Okay. Manually also you can create a file from here. Here you can go and just create the file mydata.db. That is also fine. Okay. So now in this mydata.db file, there is no table. So let's create one table in this file. See, this is file-based database, SQLite. You no need to install anything. Okay. So here I'll just write create table. Table name will be the book. Two columns we will create. One is book ID, data type integer, and next is book name. I will give the data type as text. Yeah, that's all. So now let's see tables. Now you can see book table got created. Now I want to insert the value into this table. So I'll just write insert into book table. What are the column names? One is book ID. Second is book name. Book ID, book name, values. So let's insert the value. Book ID is 101 and book name is, I'll just write Java. Java programming is my book. Okay. So double quotes we cannot use. Okay. So make sure you will use the single quotes over here. Okay. Yeah. So row got inserted, one more row. So use up arrow. The previous query, you will get it. Up arrow on your keyboard. Up arrow is there. You use it. Next ID, I'm going to change it as 102 and the book name is, I'll just write it as Python programming. Okay. Next, one more row I want to insert 103 and I'll just write it here. Java programming, Python programming, we'll just write it here. Let's say JavaScript. programming. Okay, like this I have written. Okay, 3 rows we have inserted. I want to read the data now. So I'll just write select everything from, what is the table name? Book table. So yeah, so all the 3 rows we got it in return: Java, Python, and JavaScript. Okay. Okay. So now table is ready, database is ready. So dot exit we will write. Okay, done. We'll clear the screen. So now your database is ready. In which file book table is present? In mydata.db file, your book table is present. Please do remember this. Okay. Okay. So now we will connect with our mydata.db file. But before that, let's understand why this path module is required. So here I'll just write console.log. Okay. I want to create one path. So I will write path.join. Okay. Let's say I have written here my app. Okay. Next, I have written here some file name, or I can just write file1. And next, I have written here my data.db like this. So now what it will print, let's understand. See, path is a module which we have imported here. Dot join is a method. So whatever you will pass here, that will be joined separated by slash. So it creates the path automatically. So now if I just save it, let's run this. How to run this file? We have to just write node, file name is index.js. That's all. So now if you check the console, what it has printed? First parameter is my app, then slash file1 slash mydata.db. That's all. Here, whatever you want, you write it. I am just showing that whatever you will pass here, all these parameters will be joined, separated by slash. Because normally for the path, we will be having the slash. If I open any file in my file explorer, okay, you can watch the path over here. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, so now let's say in downloads, I'll go. Okay, so I'll go to, let's say, documents. Now multiple documents are present over here. Okay, so now this is your path. You can see user slash Priya slash favorite slash links. This is path separated, joined by using slash. Okay, so this path will be generated by using this path dot join method. Whatever you will pass, it will be joined by using slash. Okay, like this we can generate the path. That's why I have imported this. Okay, more better clarity we will get once we generate the path for my data.db. Okay, so now where is my data.db file present? That path I want. What I want? I want the path of, or my DB path I want. Where is your database? That path I want. Your database is present in Node.js backend SQLite folder. See, this is the folder name currently we are present in, correct? So in the current folder, you have my data.db. So how should I write the current folder name? Should I write it manually? Okay, Node.js, backend, after that SQLite. In this file, I have my data.db like this. Like this, we should not write it, guys, because this path is not cross-platform. If you try to run this project in Mac OS, it won't work because in some operating system, path will be shown by using forward slash. In some operating system, it will be backward slash. It depends. So we should not generate this path manually like this. Rather, we will write it here. Properly observe. I'll write path dot join. Current directory name will be given by double underscore dir name. Sorry. I'll just write it here, dir name. So this dir name returns the current directory where you are present. Currently, I am present in Node.js backend SQLite folder. So let's see what it is printing. I'll just clear this. We have not printed it on the console. So let me print it, console.log my db path. Okay, I'll save the code. We'll execute it. So can you see this is my current directory. Inside users, Priya, desktop, on desktop, Node.js backend.sqlite is present. So complete path I got it of my current directory. Okay. So in current directory, what you have? My data.db file you have. My data.db. Correct. So now what is the path of your db file? Your path of your db file is present in mydb path variable. Okay, so let's see now what is present in mydb path variable. You can check the complete path is present. So in your system, where is your database present? That path we have stored in mydb path variable because we want to connect there, right? To perform CRUD operation. So the path will be generated like this. And this is cross-platform. Now you can see the path is separated by forward slash. On Mac OS, if it is required as a backward slash, automatically it will give backward slash. So this generates the cross-platform path for you. Okay. Okay. So I'll just remove this. I hope I'm clear that why we have generated this path. In comments, I will write path of my database file. This is the path of database file. Path of database file. Yeah. So now next I want to connect there. Now how to connect? Let's write the code for this. So I'll just write it here. Database connection code. Database connection code. Which database? SQLite, of course. So I'll just write SQLite database connection code. Okay, so let's write it. Now we will declare one method name. Let's say the method name is connect a database or initialize db. This is my method name. Okay, arrow function I am going to use. In this method, I will write the logic to connect with our database. Now we have imported two packages to connect with the SQLite database. One is SQLite 3 and another is SQLite. These packages are present into our Node.js environment, okay, into our npm. So by using npm only, we have installed them, okay. So now let's use them and let's connect it. So now, as I have told you, SQLite is file-based database. This mydata.db is a file. In that file, book table is present. So to connect with that DB, first we have to open the file and then we will connect with that. So to open the file, we need open method like this. Open the file. Which file? Which file you want to open? In which database you want to connect? So I will give the file name. File name. What is the file name? So you should not write mydata.db where that file is present. In your system, what is the path of that file? Path is already present in mydb path variable. So this path I will give here. That's all. And I'm going to set the driver. Driver is SQLite 3 dot database. Now, SQLite 3, this S is in lowercase, yeah. BASE, database, yeah. So now your open method accepts two parameter always. First is file name, where the file is present, that path we need. And the second is driver. This driver actually will allow you to perform the different operations on this file. This driver will provide you the different methods, run method, get method, all method. Soon we will explore them. Okay. So driver means actual communication, whatever you want to have along with this database, that access will be given by this driver. Okay. So this file name will tell where the database is present. Driver will enable the communication with your database. Okay, so you have connected with your database. So now one more small code we have to write here, two keywords basically. We are telling here open the file, open. So to open that database, to check where that database is present in your file, actually this path is valid or not, it takes some couple of seconds, we can say, okay, or it takes some time. So if it is taking some time, means this is asynchronous function, correct? Means inside this function, we have one asynchronous task. that task might take some time to complete. So we have to tell here a wait. Okay, wait here only until it open this file and it enable the communication with this database. Which database? My data.db. You wait here only. And await, if you are using async, is must to have over there. So now, what is the meaning of this? Wait here, open this mydata.db and enable the communication. If user wants to read the data from this .db, it should be possible. If user wants to update the data from this db, it should be allowed. So enable the communication. Once it enable the communication with your mydata.db file, it returns one connection object. That connection object, let's say we have stored into db variable. This db variable I will declare here only. Let db is equal to null. You can declare any variable name. Yeah. So now this has created one connection with your database and connection object is present in db variable. Okay. So now once we successfully connected with the database, we will display one small message over here that successfully connected with my data.db database. My data.db SQLite database. This message I want to display. Okay. Okay. So now, yes, our complete method is done. That's all, guys. This 4-5 lines of code you have to write to connect with your file-based database, SQLite database. Okay. So now we have created the method. So of course, we have to call the method. Okay. Unless and until we call the method, instruction won't be executed. So I have called the method over here. Okay. We'll save the code. So now let's execute this code and let's see this message we are getting or not, or we are getting any error. Okay. Okay. So let's execute the file node index.js. We'll hit the enter. As you can see, we got the message successfully connected with the mydata.db SQLite database. So once you connected, now you can create the different APIs to read the data from this database. Book table is there, right? So we can read the data from book table and many more things we will do. Okay. But before that, let's start our server now. Okay. So what I'll do here, once it will connect with the database, automatically it should start the server also. So inside this only, first we will create the server instance, our Express instance. So Express, I'll just write const app is equal to, we have created the Express application. Okay. Express application we have created over here. This is the server. Okay. App. So now that server we will start here inside this initialize DB only. See, once the database got connected, after this I will write app.listen method. Server, it should start on port number 3000 and it should display one message like server started. Okay, like this. Here I'll just write server started. Okay. Started on port 3000. Like this. Server started on port 3000. Okay. So you will be connected with the database and immediately as soon as you connected successfully with the database, it will start the server. So let's see the output. I'll just arrange it properly. Yeah. So here we have called the method also and here we started the server. Here in comments, I will write server started like this. We'll save the code. Okay. So now let's run the server. I'll just write node index.js. So you can see successfully we connected with the database and your server also started. Okay. But we will not use node index.js because if we do some changes in our file again and again, we have to start the server. So for that purpose, we will be using nodemon. But before that, we have to install it. npm install nodemon. In last video, I already have covered all this nodemon and all. Okay, nodemon is node monitor. As soon as some changes happens in the file, immediately it restarts your server. Okay. Okay. So I'll just clear this now. And we'll write it here, nodemon index.js. So now again and again, we no need to start the server. See, if I do some changes, server started on port, here I will give colon space 3000 like this. So see, change server restarted and whatever the changes I made, see, immediately I got all those changes. So if you want your server should restart as soon as you do the changes, you have to go with nodemon. Okay. Okay. So we'll drag it and drop it over here. Now server is running, so we don't need it anymore. Okay, let it run over there. So now we have to create the API. Okay, before we create the API, let's understand whatever the code we have typed through this animation. Okay. Okay. So as I have told, these APIs soon we are going to create. But before that, let's understand what in all the part we have covered. First, we imported the Express. We created the instance of Express and server is running on port number 3000. Okay. So now we are going to create one API like this. See, app.get means if user will enter slash book slash, this is the path, then this query will be executed. This function will be executed, handler function. In that function, query is present. Select everything from book. And this query will be executed against DB. DB means what? Inside a DB, our connection object is present. I will explain this particular API, but understand what is DB here. I am saying if type of request is get, see get method app.get, then this asynchronous function, it has to execute. The function will accept the user request. What is the query? Select everything from book. This is the SQL query. This query, it has to execute against DB connection. DB dot means go inside the DB. What is present in DB? Your mydata.db file. So it will go inside mydata.db. Inside that book table is present. So it will execute this query against your mydata.db. This query will return multiple rows. So that's why all method. So I'm telling db dot go inside that mydata.db, execute this query. This query will return multiple all rows, collect it and store that data into data variable. So now you are telling go inside that mydata.db, execute select everything from book table. It will take some time, right? It is fetching the data from database. So that's why I have mentioned await here. You wait there only. You go inside a DB, you collect all the book data, you wait there only until this query will be executed and data will be collected end to end. Once data collected, send that data into data variable and send that data as a response to the user. But now question is, we will implement this API. How we created the connection object in DB variable. So initially that DB variable null we declared. Then we imported two packages, SQLite and SQLite 3. Then we created the path like this. Now here the DB name is goodreads.db I have given. But in actual our code, what DB name we have given? I'll just replace it. It is my data.db. Okay, my data.db. So here also I'll just change it with my. In single quote we have to write. I'll just write my data.db. Okay. So this is your current directory name. Okay. Some current directory name we got it over here. I'll just write it here. Current folder name. Okay. Something like this. We will get it over here. So yeah. So let's start one more time. Yeah. DB variable was null. Then we imported two packages. So now in my DB path variable, the path will be present where actually your mydata.db is present. That path is present in mydb.path variable. Actually, it creates the path like this. Okay. So current folder name and after that mydata.db. Actually, here also again, this should be mydata.db. Correct? Mydata.db. Yeah. My bad. Okay. So current directory name, you will get it here, /mydata.db. So all these parameters which you have given in join method, it will be joined by using this slash, and it is present in mydb path variable. So now you used open method. We have mentioned open this file. Driver is SQLite 3.database, which actually enables the communication with this file, which is present at this path with your mydata.db. So that connection object is present in db variable. Correct, right? Now we created this getBook API. Get all the books from book table. So here we are mentioning, again I will explain. If user sends the get type of request, path is /book/, go inside this db, means this db is holding connection object of your mydata.db. Execute this query, get the data, store into the data variable. So now this we have to create it. So let's go back to our code, VS Code, and let's type the code. So we are going to create our first API. Okay, after this in comments I will write API to read book data from database. All book data from database we want to read it. Okay, so for that purpose we will create the API. Postman is required. Make sure your Postman you have opened here. Okay, so I'll just keep it over here. So what we are going to do is type of request will be get. Why get type of request? Because whenever we want to read the data from database, what should be the type of request? At the beginning of the video only we have discussed. It should be get type of request. So I am mentioning here, if user will enter /books/ as a path, server is running on 3000, correct? In your local system, in your own system at port number 3000, server is running. So I'm sending the request to that server and I'm asking server, my path is /book/. My type of request is get. If I send the request as a response, I should get all the book data from book table. So this request we should able to handle. So let's create the server here. So I'm creating the API. If my server, my app is holding that Express application, which is running on 3000. So if you are sending get type ka request to my server, app server running on 3000, and if the path is, what is the path? /books/, you can give any path, then this function will be executed. The handler function will accept your request and sends the response. Okay. So two parameters I have mentioned, request and response. This will accept the request object. This accepts the response object. Okay. So next I'm going to write it here. Accept the request, incoming request, which is coming on port number 3000 ka server. Type of request, if it is get, if the path is /book/, then I'm mentioning here const data. Okay, book data we can write like this, book data. This is a variable. Okay, variable name like this we will write book underscore data like this. So now I am going to mention here, go inside the DB. What DB is holding? You can see DB is holding connection object. So basically you are telling go inside mydata.db. Dot means go inside it. Go inside mydata.db. Okay. Take all the rows returned after executing. In backtick we have to write the query. Not this. These are not single quote. These are backtick. So here I will write the query, select everything from, what is the table name? Book table. So book table is present in this DB. I am mentioning get all the rows. See, all method returned by this driver only, this SQLite 3. This enables the communication with the DB. Okay. So get all the rows returned after executing this query against this DB. So it will take some time, right? So I am mentioning you wait here only. Await, if you are using this function, should be async. You wait here only, collect all the data, and as a response, you send whatever is present in book data variable like this. It should be book, okay, like this. You can send the JSON response also, okay. We will modify it, save the code, and now it's time to test the API. First, check is there any error? There is no error. Server is properly running. After saving the code, server restarted actually. So now let's test the API. So type of request is get, path is /book/. We'll send the request now. Okay, it is sending the request. Now status code is 200, means okay, everything is okay, and you got the book data which is present in book table. That's all, guys. So our get book API is ready now. This is called as get request to read the data from the database. Okay, so here you can send the JSON response also. For example, like this. Instead of writing like this, we can write response dot. Okay, what I'll do, I'll just mention it for next API. First, you properly implement this API. Okay. Or you can mention it, not an issue. Response dot status we can mention as a 200, means everything is okay. Okay. And the JSON data we can pass it like this. Okay. So here I will initialize one variable message. Okay. And here this is my key actually. And here I will send the message as data fetch successfully from book table. Okay. And the second, I'm going to pass whatever the data is present in book data variable. So this book data variable, I'll pass it over here. I'll save the code. Is there any error? Check. There is no error. Server is running well. So now one more time, we'll send the request. See the message we got, data fetched successfully, and book data. This is an array. You can check. It is holding all the data. We got it over here. Okay. So our first API is ready. Now next, I'm going to create second API to read specific book data from database. Specific, it should read. Now specific means what? Look here, what we are going to do. So now whatever the books are present in our database, each book, they have their own ID. See, this book has the ID 101, here 102, 103. So if I enter /book/ and ID is 101 like this, I am reading the data only, but all data I don't want to read. Whatever the ID I have mentioned, that book ID it should return. That's all I want. Okay. So yeah, we have to handle this now. If I enter 101, it should return the book where ID is 101. All books it should not return. Okay. So let's start. Now this 101 I'm passing in path. This is my path parameter. Okay. So let's go back to the code. We'll write it here, app.get. Okay. If the path is /books/ and after that we have given one ID, correct? Okay. So now what is that ID? ID can be anything. User will pass 101, 103. It can be anything, but that ID should come in ID variable. You can declare any variable. So I am mentioning here, if the path is /books/, /books/, and after that, whatever parameter user has given, that should come in this ID variable. After /book/, here if you have given 102, so this 102 will come in this ID variable. That's all. This is called as path parameter. Path parameter will be given by this colon, by using colon. Okay. 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 Next, handler function. This is my handler function. Handler function will accept the request and response object. Okay. So now I will write it here. In the request dot params is a property. In request parameter means this only. Here you have declared one parameter, right? By using colon. This is called as request parameter. This is request path. /book/ is a path. Colon ID is a request parameter. Request parameter can be fetched by using request.params, P-A-R-A-M-S. Params is a property. So in the request parameter, you have one parameter with the variable name id. So this value will come in this id variable. You take it. Okay, it will take it. And after that, see, we will declare one variable. Let's say data variable. We will write it here, await over here, go inside the DB, get the data. Get the data after executing the query. What is a query? Select, you can use here all method also, not an issue. Okay. Select everything. Okay. Select everything from book table, wherever you have one column with the name book ID. Book ID is equal to, now I want this ID value to be present over here. ID. Like this I will write. Okay. Await, if you are using, the function should be async for sure. Okay. So whatever the data it has fetched, we will send the response dot send, or JSON data we can pass. Okay. JSON. So message I will pass that book found, book found, and after that whatever is present in data variable, that we will send it. Okay. So now let's test the API first, then we'll have a discussion again. Okay. Is there any error? First, let's check, is server running? Yeah, server is properly running. So now it's time to test the API. We'll go over here. 102 book I want. I'll send the request. 102 book I got. Book found. I want to check the book data which has ID 101. Okay, I will send the request. Yeah, 101 book found message I am getting. Status code is 200 and that data I got it. So successfully it is working now. So now let's understand how it is working through one simple animation. Okay. So this we already have discussed. See, if we enter /book/ request will go over here. It will execute this query and you will get the data. So now first we created our API to get all books from the book table like this. Okay, like this. If we enter /book/, this query will be executed and you will get all the data from the book table. Now we created one more API to get specific book by using book ID. So now let's say here I have given the variable name as a book ID. There in the code we have used ID. So when we send the request like this, localhost 3000 /book/1. So see this /book/book/ matching here. And after that, whatever the value you have passed, this is your request parameter. This one will come in this book ID variable. Okay. So now we have mentioned in the request params, you have a book ID, means this one, store it into variable book ID, execute this query and get all the books wherever this book ID is matching and send the response. And we got successfully the data after executing this query. Okay. So request.params, inside this what is present? Inside this ID, this parameter is present and we have fetch. You can write it like this also. Request.params.id. This is also fine. So you no need to use the curly brackets. You can directly write it like this. See, if I save the code, if we go over here, we'll send the request. We got the response properly. There is no issue. Okay. Okay, both syntax are valid. So now get specific book APIs is ready. Now we will create the API to insert one new data. Okay. So I'll just write it here, API to insert new record into book table. Okay. So now what we are going to do is, along with the request when we are sending the data, what should be the type of request? Along with the request, let's say the path will be add book. Here I will write add book. This is my path. And along with this request, in the request body, I'm going to send some data. okay, in the request body. So what should be the type of request? What do you think? What should be the type of request when we are sending the data in the request body? At the beginning only we have seen the type of request should be post. Yes. So the path will be add book, and the type of request will be post, and in the request body we are going to pass some data, okay, JSON data, and that data will be saved into your database. Okay, so go to this body and from here select raw. You will be having none. None means there is no body of this request. When you want to send the post request without any data, go with this none. So here I'm going to select the raw. Okay, it should be JSON data we are going to pass. Okay, so here I'm going to mention the book ID. You can give any variable name actually. Key name it is. So it should be in string ID. Book ID is 104. Next, book name is I'm going to give the book name as Node.js book. Okay, so if I send the request, this data should go and sit in your book table, and book table is present in mydata.db. This is what we call it as inserting the data into this mydata.db database. So we will create API to insert new record into book table. You no need to write again and again insert into book, insert into book. No, no, no. Just along with the request, send whatever the data you want to insert. So now when I click on send, one API should be there which will handle this particular request. Do we have API? No, we have not created yet. So let's create it. Path should be add book, and type of request should be post. So let's go here. I'll just write it here. On this server, if you listen, post type of request, then this API should be considered. Okay. And if the path is /add book /, then execute this handler function. This will accept the request and response object. Okay. So now you tell me, in this request, we are sending the data which you want to save in the database. That data you are sending in request body. So I am going to write it here. Request object you have. See, user will send the request. Correct? Type of request is post. Path is add book. So this function will be executed. This function got your request. In that request, dot means go inside that request. You have a request body, correct? Yes. Where is your request body? This is the request body. In this request body, whatever the data you have, get that data into one variable. Okay. Now, I will destructure that values here only. I will give the variable name ID. What is the key names we have given? One is ID, second is name. Okay, ID comma name. That's all. In the request dot body, we have one JSON data. In that JSON data, how many keys are present? 2 keys. That key names you have to mention here. So in ID, what you have passed? In ID 104, that 104 is present in this. In name, what you have passed? Node.js book. That Node.js book is present in this variable. That's all. So from request body, we destructured the data. We got the data. So now we will write one small query. What is the query? We will write it inside the DB. Go inside this DB. Now we are executing insert query. Are we reading the data from DB? No. Are we reading any specific data? No. We are inserting the new data. So at that time, we will use run method, not all method. See here, we were used all method, db.all, because we are reading the data from the database. But when you are inserting the data, you will use run method, db.run method. Okay. So what is the query? In backtick, we will write the query. Insert into which table? Book table. What are the column names? One is book ID, second is book name. These are the column names. What are the values? Values. Okay. What are the values? Values are present in these variables, right? So write the variable names over here. First is ID and the second is name is a string value. So make sure in single quotes you will write it name like this. Okay. Single quotes are must because book name, Node.js book is a string value. So execute this query and after that await over here because it will take some couple of minutes to execute. Async. Okay. So once you execute whatever the new data you inserted, that record, you take it into variable record. One new data we inserted, right? That new data will come in this record variable, whichever you inserted. Okay. Any issue over here? No, there is no issue. Okay. So now on the next line, we will just write response dot JSON data we will pass, in which I'll just write message, row inserted, row inserted successfully. Okay, like this. And on the next line, whatever the record, new record we inserted, we will send the last ID. Okay. Okay. I'll just write the variable name is ID. And here, I'll just write it here. We forget to mention the comma. Record dot last ID. Okay, last ID. Now what this record dot last ID will do, let's see. Or you can simply mention the record like this also. This is also fine, guys. Okay, whatever the new data we have inserted, that new data will be returned with this message. Okay, so let's test the API now. Okay, so first check, is server running properly? Is there any issue? No, there is no issue. So let's test the API. For API testing, of course, we are using Postman. So shall we send the request? Let's send the request. Internal server error. So let's see what is the issue. Somewhere we might have messed up. Let me check it. So actually there is no error. Now what we are doing, from the incoming some data is coming, right? In the request body, some data is coming from the incoming request. So now let's test what's going wrong over here. Okay. So what I'll do in the console.log, I will print request.body. Let's see what is present in request.body. Okay, what will be the message? In the console, I'm printing this. So when you send the request, when path is /add book, type of request is post, then I'm printing what is present in request body. So we'll go over here. One more time, I will send the request. I'm getting the error. Okay. Okay. So actually in the request body, you have undefined, nothing is present. Why? Because from incoming, if some data is coming, your server will not understand what is that data. So for that purpose, you have to insert app.use, okay, express.json. So this will pass the incoming data into JSON. Okay, server won't understand. Okay, from along with the request, some data is also coming. Server is not at all understanding what is this data. So we have translated that data into JSON. We are telling to the server from the incoming data is coming, JSON data. So to you understand that data, you destructure it and store it into the database, insert it into the database. So now save the code. Okay. Save the code. Is server restarted? Yeah, server restarted. There is no issue. This line, make sure you have imported. Now one more time, let's test the API. We'll send the request. So can you see the message? I got row inserted successfully. Which row? Can you see this last ID? This is the ID given by your server for record. Okay. So last ID will be given by the server only. So here we will write ID given, given, given by server to new row. New row. Okay. What is the ID given by server to this new row? So you just write record dot last ID. Okay. Like this. So I have done some changes in my code. So one more time, let's test it. Same data already got inserted. So we'll change the ID. ID is 105. This ID is defined by me. But for each row, server also decides one ID. Okay, that ID will be returned by this last ID variable. Now here I'm giving my book name as code with Priya. Okay, code with Priya book. Okay, I will send the request. Okay, what happened? Let me see. Last ID is not defined. Okay, let me check what happened. Okay, instead of dot, I gave comma like this. So it should be dot. We'll send the request one more time. Yeah. So see, row inserted and the ID given by server to new row is 6. One more time we'll insert the data. ID is 106. This is given by me. Code with Priya. Instead of this code with Priya, I will give my book name as job ready coders. That's my channel name. So I'm going to write it book over here and I'll send the request. So can you see row inserted and the ID given by server is 7. Okay. So let's see all these books actually present in our table or not. So to get all the data from the table, what is the path we will insert? Slash book slash type of request will be get. So it will return all the book from the table. So I will write slash book slash. If the type of request is get, send the request. See, all the data which is present in your book table, we got it. 101, 103, JavaScript book, Node.js book, code with Priya book, job, code with Priya book 2 times I have inserted, not an issue, and job ready coders book. Okay, all the data is present over here. So if you send the ID is 101, specific book if you want, see 101, you got it. So if you want to insert the data, you know what is the path. If you want to get specific data, different APIs we have created. Okay. So this is your API to insert new row into the table. So let's understand how this APIs is working through one simple presentation. Okay. So this we already have covered. Now this is our table, correct? Now, actually, whenever we are submitting the form, we send the post type of request, as I have told you multiple times, correct? So, when we enter the path slash book slash, in our case, we have given the path slash add book slash. If the path is slash add book slash, if user will hit submit with this data, so this data we are sending with the request to the server. So this data is present in the request body. See, this JSON data, we will pass it. So in our case, form is not present because form is a part of front end, right? So manually in the Postman, in the request body, we gave this data. But actually through forms, the data comes like this, okay? So along with the request, when we are sending the data in the request body, the type of request is post. So server is listening to the request, API should be there, database connection code will be as it is. So now this line we have written app.use. So in the incoming request, JSON data is coming, server will not understand that data. So I am telling to the server, from incoming data is coming, that is the JSON data, pass it, translate it, understand it. And later, we created the API like this. If user will enter slash book slash, if the type of request is post, you can see slash book slash, type of request is post, then in the request dot means go inside the request object, see request object, get the book details. So what is present in book details now? In book details, the data is present like this, book ID and book name. So on the next line, we can destructure it like this. See, from book details variable, take book ID and book name, these keys, and insert query. A row inserted message, you will get it. This is how your API is working. So on the same line, actually we have destructured over here. Okay. So I hope I'm clear with insert book API. So now let's create the update book API. Okay. So before update book API, you can create delete also. Okay. I'll create update book API. Okay. Update book API. So now app dot to update the book, type of request will be put because user want to update the data. So if user will enter the path slash update book slash, and user will pass the book ID also. That ID will come in this ID variable. Okay. The request object will come here. This is response. Okay. So now user sends the request like this. Everyone observe carefully. I'll go over here. User will give the path will be update book. This is the path. Type of request will be put. Now, which book you want to update? That ID you have to give. 101 book you update. And in the request body, we will send the data. Okay. Wherever the book ID is 101, the name for book should be this. I will just write it over here. New name. New name, or will give book name as Harry Potter. Harry Potter. So wherever the book ID is 101, the book name should be Harry Potter. This data I want to update. Okay. So let's write the code for this. Okay. See, this is the path parameter. Correct. So path should be update book. So you can see slash update book. After that, whatever you have given 101, this 101 will come in this ID variable. So accept the request. In the request body, we are passing the data. What is the key name in that JSON data? The key name is this name. Okay. So let's write the code. So I will write it over here. First, const will declare one variable. Let's say ID. Okay. In the request dot params, we have one ID. That ID should come inside this ID variable. After that, I will mention name here. Which book name, the new name you want to give here, that name will come in this request dot body. So the meaning is, in the request dot body, you have a JSON data. This complete data I don't want. Only the name key ka value Harry Potter will come in this name variable. That's all. Okay. So the ID means this 101 will come in this ID variable, and Harry Potter will come in this name variable. Okay. That's all. So now we'll execute the query. What should be the query? I will write it over here. Go inside the DB, run this query, or execute also you can write. What is the query? So I will write it here. Update. What is the table name? Book. Update book set. Set. Now what to write? Set book name is equal to this new name. We will pass it over here, which is a string value. So make sure you will give it in single quote, which is present in name variable. So set the book name is equal to Harry Potter. But for which book? So we will write wherever your book ID is equal to this ID. So inside this book ID, user has passed the ID, right? For which book user wants to update the data. Correct, right? Like this. So update the book, set the book name Harry Potter, wherever book ID is. What is the book ID? 101. Okay. So await over here until it executes the query. Function should be asynchronous function. Just a minute. What happened? There might be some syntax errors. Just a minute. Okay, I have written async. Maybe there was some issue with the VS Code, not an issue. Okay, so execute this query, update the book, and later send the response. We can send some simple response this time as book updated, or like this we will send the response. In backtick, I will write the message book updated of ID. What is the book ID? Which is present in ID variable. Book updated of ID. This Okay, so let's test it. But before I send this request, for 101, what is the book name? Maybe some Java programming. See, for 101, the book name is Java programming. Now I am going to update it with Harry Potter. Let's send the request. I got the message book updated of ID 101. Really, now I want the books data. So I will write books, not all books, only the book where ID is 101. Get that book. Will send the request. Now can you see the book name? It is Harry Potter. Okay. Let's see all book names. I want all books. Now here you can see the book name is Node.js book for ID 104. I want to update it. So I will send the request for update book API. ID is 104. Okay, type of request will be put because you want to update the data. Correct? Now, what book name you want instead of Node.js? I want the book name as same Harry Potter Part 2, like this. Okay, this book name I want. Send the request. Book got updated. So now let's check. Get all the books you can write or get the book where ID is 104. Get it. Get type of request because we are reading the data. Send the request. Now you can see book name is Harry Potter Part 2 for ID 104. So like this we can update the data. So now let's delete the data. For delete data, what I'm going to do, if user will enter the path, let's say delete book slash and user will pass the ID 101. Delete the book where ID is 101. Type of request will be delete. So that book it should delete. Okay, so let's create the API. So last API, I'll just write it over here. Sorry. Delete book API. So on this server, if you listen, delete type of request, and if the path is delete book slash, okay, slash delete book slash. After that, user will give the ID also. That is a path parameter. So that path parameter should come in ID variable. You can give any variable actually, okay. So handler function will accept the request and response object. Okay. So const this ID will come in this ID variable. In the request dot params, ID is coming, means this 101 will come in this ID variable. And on the next line, we will write await, go inside the DB, run the query. What is the query? Delete from book table wherever book ID is equal to, what is the book ID? Whatever we have given in this ID variable. Okay. So I'll just mention here ID. Await, if you are using, the function should be asynchronous. Okay. So the book will be deleted. So that deleted book will be come in this deleted book variable. And I'm going to send the response now, JSON response. In that, I will send the message first, message key. What is the message? I will send book deleted of ID. What is ID? Just we will write book deleted. And which book got deleted? That book will be displayed here. Deleted book is this. Okay. Comma, I have missed. Comma. Yeah. So we'll save the code. Now it's time to test our API. Okay. Is server running? Check. Yeah. Server is running. There is no issue. So we'll go over here. Wherever ID is 101 means our Harry Potter book type of request is delete. I want to delete. Send the request. So I'm getting book deleted. Which book got deleted? This book. Last ID. This ID is given by server only. This book got deleted. Really, let's try to read all the data from books table. I'll just write books. 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 And the type of request will be get. We'll send the request. You can see there is no book with the ID 102. Sorry, 101. Now, wherever the ID is 105, see, two books I have with ID 105. I want to delete them. So I will write it here. What is the path? Delete book wherever ID is 105. delete this book. Type of request is delete. So we'll send the request. Book deleted. Two books got deleted, guys. So now let's see whether books got really deleted or not. We'll send the type of request get. Path is /book/. We'll send the request. 102, 103, 104, 106. There is no book 105. So these are the APIs we have created over here. Okay. So the complete code you will be getting, okay, in the description. You just check your description. So we have created all the 4 APIs where we created the SQLite database. In that we created one book table. So first we created get book API to read the data from the database. Then we created get specific book API where we learn about path parameter. Then we created insert book API, post type of request. Then we created update book API and delete book API respectively. And we tested them as well. So we have covered the basics of this APIs. In the upcoming video, I'm going to teach you the query parameters end to end, and later we are going to use the MongoDB database. Okay. So by using this SQLite database, we understood the fundamental concepts. Okay. How we can create the APIs, how we can write the SQL queries in those APIs, right? So properly, I hope you understood. Whatever the errors you are getting, in the comments, you can ask those errors to me. Okay. Or you can give your available time to me. So we can arrange one meeting live. I will be connecting with you and we will be solving your errors. Okay. So whatever the errors you are getting, you can let me know in the comment section. Immediately we will arrange one meeting with you and we will solve your errors. So I hope you understood all the concepts. If you are beginner, in one shot you will not understand everything. I would like to suggest you to watch the video at least twice to get the better clarity about the concepts. Okay. So instead of learning fast, learn slow, not an issue, but perfectly understand the concept so that you can create your own APIs and you can start building your projects. Okay. So we'll meet in the next video with some more in-depth concepts of this Node.js, and we will replace our database with MongoDB as well. Until then, take care all of you and do practice, do revise all the concepts and be ready for the next video. Thank you everyone.